Welcome back to Reddit Storytime. Today we have 4 incredible stories. Let's dive right in. Story number 1. She disappeared for 2 years, then demanded my vegetables. So this is a story about garden warfare that got completely out of control. Our storyteller has been part of a community garden for nearly 4 years. The rules are simple. If you abandon your plot for an entire season and do not cultivate it, it gets reassigned to someone from the waitlist. Well, 2 years ago, the plot right next to theirs became completely overgrown. Weeds everywhere. No tilling, no watering, no planting. The owner, let us call her Diane, had left the city due to a family emergency and never responded to any emails from the garden coordinator. After a full year of this plot sitting there like a jungle, our storyteller asked the coordinator if they could clean it up and start growing there. The coordinator verbally approved it since Diane was clearly not coming back. So for 2 entire growing seasons, our storyteller cleaned the soil, amended it, watered it daily, and grew tomatoes, squash, and herbs. They never touched anything that belonged to Diane. They only planted annual vegetables that they themselves tended to. Then, last week, Diane appeared out of absolutely nowhere. She had sorted out her family situation and moved back. She walked straight to her old plot, saw those beautiful tomato plants bursting with ripe vegetables, and completely lost her mind. She demanded that every single crop be handed over because it was still officially her assigned plot. Never mind that she did zero work for 2 entire years. Our storyteller offered to return the plot going forward, and even offered to help amend the soil. But the vegetables they planted, watered, and tended for months? Those belonged to them. Diane was absolutely livid. She started spreading rumors through the entire community that our storyteller was a thief who squatted on her land. Now the coordinator is caught in the middle because no paperwork was officially updated. So here is the question. If someone abandons a garden for 2 full years, does zero work, and someone else turns it into a thriving plot, who owns the harvest? What do you think? Story number 2. Friend ordered everything then vanished at birthday dinner. So this is a birthday dinner disaster that will make your blood boil. Our storyteller and her friends plan to celebrate their friend Emma's birthday. 5 of them total. Now, our storyteller is self-employed and transitioning away from a higher-paying job, so money was extremely tight. She and Emma had already agreed to cancel dinner because nobody could really afford it. Enter Pedro. Pedro had been pushing everyone all day to finalize plans. When told they were broke, his response was, and I quote, "Are you asking me for money?" He then suggested using his brand new credit card because he needed to hit the spending requirement for a sign-up bonus. They agreed he would put her meal and half of Emma's meal on his card, and she would pay him back the following Monday. Crystal clear agreement. Here is where it gets infuriating. Before another friend even arrived, Pedro ordered 3 appetizers just for himself and ate them while everyone else waited. Then once everyone was there, he even encouraged Emma, the birthday girl, to order a fancy caviar bump. After they all placed their dinner orders, our storyteller stepped outside for just a moment. The restaurant had one entrance and she was sitting right outside it. When she came back in, Pedro was gone. Just vanished. He had not said goodbye to anyone. She quietly asked the waiter what Pedro had actually paid for. Only his own appetizers. This man proposed the entire arrangement, encouraged everyone to order, stayed through the ordering process knowing full well about the agreement, and then bolted without paying for anything he had promised. Our storyteller could not reach her boyfriend or her parents for help. She and her friend Faith scraped together every single dollar they had to cover the bill. They could not even leave a tip. A few days later, Pedro called her and said she was the one being unreasonable because she, quote, felt entitled to his money. He laughed and called her entitled. So let me get this straight. The guy who proposed paying with his credit card, encouraged people to order, ate 3 solo appetizers, and then disappeared without warning, is calling someone else entitled. What do you think? Story number 3. I got a doctorate out of pure spite. This is the most productive petty revenge you will ever hear. Our storyteller has a stepdad with a large age gap among his siblings. This means their aunt is actually about the same age as them. The aunt went on to earn her PhD in veterinary medicine, which is genuinely impressive. Our storyteller earned a Master of Social Work because that was all they needed for their career at the time. Fast forward several years. Their grandfather, a military veteran, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and needed serious help. Our storyteller, being both a veteran themselves and a social worker, stepped up to help him navigate the VA system, Medicare, home health services, and every other aspect of his care. In the middle of all this critical work, the aunt started arguing with them. Her position was that someone with a doctor title should really be in charge of the grandfather's care decisions. She was actively fighting against her own father's wishes and making an already difficult situation so much worse. So our storyteller reached a breaking point and made one of the greatest declarations of spite in history. She said, "You know what, I am getting my doctorate just to spite you." And she actually did it. She earned a full Doctor of Social Work degree. And the best part? Her grandfather was so incredibly proud that he bragged about it to the entire family. Every single one of them. He got to see her graduate before he passed away. So this petty revenge started as pure spite against an annoying aunt who thought her veterinary degree gave her authority over human healthcare decisions. But it ended up being one of the proudest achievements of our storyteller's entire life. The aunt got her doctor. And our storyteller got a terminal degree, a grandfather's pride, and the ability to help care for him at the end of his life. Sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming undeniably more qualified than the person who doubted you. What a legend! Story number 4. Landlord faked a break-in to get revenge for April Fool's prank. This is a prank war between a tenant and a landlord that escalated in the most terrifying way possible. A family had been renting a house since 2024. About a year in, the property management company's owner died, so the actual homeowner took over everything. They met, signed a new lease, and actually became friends. They would work on house projects together, and in return, the landlord would discount the rent for that month. The landlord was an airline captain who was currently out of work awaiting medical reviews. So he was short on money himself. For April Fool's Day, our storyteller thought it would be hilarious to text him that they were short on rent. Completely forgetting that the landlord was also going through financial struggles. The landlord texted back calmly saying he understood and to get him the balance as soon as possible. Our storyteller immediately remembered his situation and quickly texted back saying it was just a prank, they had all the money, and they were sending it that day. The landlord replied saying he found it funny, but payback was coming. Our storyteller shrugged it off. 2 weeks later, they told the landlord they were going on a cruise out of California. The landlord said he would drive by the house to check on it while they were gone. So there they are, riding a train through California, excited for their vacation, when the landlord sends a terrifying text. He had driven by the house. Someone had jacked up the garage door enough to crawl under. He thought someone might still be inside. He was waiting for the police to arrive. Complete panic mode. Our storyteller is picturing stolen electronics, stolen mountain bikes, stolen tools, keys to a truck that was parked right there. 30 agonizing minutes of silence. They checked their Ring camera app and saw nothing but the neighbor kid who had come over earlier looking for their son. Then their wife said the magic words. "Remember, you pranked him about the rent?" They did not want to believe it. But then the landlord texted back with 5 simple words. Payback is a bitch. He had fabricated the entire break-in story from hundreds of miles away, using nothing but text messages, to make them experience pure terror while on vacation. And honestly, they admitted they deserved every second of it. That's all for today. If you enjoyed these stories, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more. See you next time.